My girlfriend told me her guy best friend mattered more than I did. On a random Tuesday night, standing in our tiny kitchen with the sink full of dishes, my girlfriend looked me straight in the eye and said, "He matters more to me than you do. And you make me feel small." She didn't yell it. She didn't cry. She just said it, calm, final. I didn't shout back. I didn't beg her to take it back. I made one small change. For the first time in 3 years, I actually believed her. I stopped telling myself she didn't mean it, stopped pretending her guy best friend was no big deal, and quietly started packing a bag while she watched. I had no idea that sentence, said in the middle of an argument about nothing and everything, would end up being the most honest thing she ever gave me. My name is Ethan. I'm 28 years old and I'm from Austin, Texas. 3 years ago, I thought I'd finally stumbled into the kind of relationship you brag about in group chats. We met at a friend's housewarming party. She laughed at my stupid joke about IKEA furniture. I made her a playlist the next day. 2 weeks later, we were a thing. Her name is Lily. She's 26, a graphic designer, the kind of person who remembers everyone's coffee order and sends memes at exactly the right time. When we first started dating, we were that couple. Late night tacos. Sunday, farmers markets. Spending whole days in bed talking about everything and nothing. There was just one thing that never quite fit for me. His name was Alex. From day one, he was part of the package. "Just so you know," Lily said the night we defined the relationship, "I have a best friend named Alex. He's like a brother to me. We've been inseparable since we were 11. If you're going to be with me, you're going to have to be okay with him." I remember forcing a smile. "Sure," I said. "I have girlfriends too. It's fine." And I meant it. At first, the first time I met Alex, it was at a bar downtown. Lily waved him over like she'd spotted a celebrity. "Alex," she yelled, launching herself into his arms. He laughed, spun her around, then set her down and turned to me. "You must be Ethan," he said, sticking out a hand. The guy who finally knocked Lily off her feet. He was disarmingly normal. Mid-20 seconds IT consultant, nice smile, the kind of easy charm that makes bartenders remember your name. If I'm honest, that made it worse. I think, deep down, I wanted to dislike him immediately. I wanted an obvious villain. Instead, I got a guy who bought the next round without making a show of it. Asked me questions about my job. Knew Lily's favorite drink without asking. Still, there were little things that pricked at me. When Lily went to the bathroom, Alex leaned over and said, half joking, "Thanks for taking care of her, man. She picks some real winners sometimes." I laughed politely, not sure if I was being complimented or warned. On the way home, I said, "He seems nice." "He's the best," she said. "I literally would not be alive without him." That sentence stuck in my brain. "Not be alive?" I asked. She hesitated. "That's a story for another day," she said. "Let's just say he's seen me at my absolute lowest. He's my person." I understood the words. What I didn't understand yet was what it would feel like to date someone whose person wasn't me. At first, it was the usual stuff. Inside jokes I didn't get yet. Stories that started with, "Remember when we," and ended in shared laughter. Texts from him popping up at midnight. I told myself it was just history, that I'd build my own with her. Then came the little boundary blurs. The first time I really noticed it, Lily and I were out for our 6-month anniversary dinner. Nice restaurant, white tablecloth. I'd even ironed a shirt. Her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at it, smiled, and started typing. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "It's just Alex. He had a crap day at work. He needs to vent." For the next 10 minutes, while I poked at my food, she tapped out long messages. Every now and then, she'd laugh under her breath. After a while, she must have noticed my silence. "Sorry," she said, putting the phone face down. He has no one else to talk to about this stuff." "You have me," I said. She gave me a look like I'd missed something obvious. "This is different," she said. "You don't understand his office politics. It's like, our thing." There it was, our thing. A tiny phrase that, at the time, I let roll off me. Later that night, when she was in the shower, her phone lit up again on the nightstand. I glanced at it. A preview of his message read, "It what I'd do without you, seriously." My stomach twisted just a bit. I didn't open it. I told myself they were just words between old friends. I wish I could say that was the last time I ignored a feeling like that. It wasn't. I grew up in a house where jealousy was treated like a character flaw. My parents used to say things like, "If you're jealous, it's because you don't trust yourself." So when those little flares of discomfort popped up around Alex, my first reflex wasn't "something's off." It was, "What's wrong with me?" Lily helped cement that. Whenever I tried to bring it up, she'd tilt her head and say, "Are you threatened by my friend?" The first real argument about it happened about a year into our relationship. It started small, like these things always do. We were watching a show on the couch. Lily was half under a blanket, half on top of me, scrolling her phone during the slow parts. Her screen lit up with a photo. Even from an angle, I could see it was a selfie of Alex, in a suit, making a stupid face. She smiled, typed something back quickly. "What's so funny?" I asked, trying for casual. "He just sent me a pic from some boring work event," she said. "He looks like a penguin." She turned the screen toward me for a second, then flipped it back. Later that night, when she went to brush her teeth, my insecurity, got the better of me. Her phone was on the bed. I know I shouldn't have, but I tapped their message thread. I wish I hadn't. Not because there was graphic content or anything. There wasn't. It was worse than that. It was intimacy. Long paragraphs about work, about family, about his anxiety, about her imposter syndrome. They used nicknames for each other I'd never heard. And there were things about me. I scrolled up and saw my own name. Lily. He's great, honestly, but sometimes I feel like I have to explain my feelings in a language he doesn't speak. Alex. That's because you do. You and I share a brain. He's from a different planet. Lily. Yeah, I wish I could just plug you both into each other. Alex. Lol. Store brand me versus premium me. I stared at that last line. Store brand me. Premium him. My chest hurt. When Lily came back into the room, I put the phone down like it had burned me. Why were you on my phone? She asked instantly, eyes narrowing. It lit up, I said lamely. She grabbed it, face flushing. That's not okay, Ethan, she said. You can't just go through my messages. I saw my name, I shot back. Am I not allowed to know when I'm being talked about behind my back? Her jaw clenched. You took that out of context, she said. We were joking. You know we joke like that. Do I asked, because it sounds a lot like you and your brain twin are grading me. She rolled her eyes. Wow, she said. You really are threatened. It's not about being threatened, I said, louder than I meant to. It's about feeling like there's a whole other relationship going on that I'm not part of. That's because it's not your relationship, she snapped. It's my friendship. The fight spiraled from there. I said things like, you tell him things you don't tell me. Why does he get real-time updates and I get the summary? Why are you talking about us with him instead of with me? She said things like, he knew me before you did. He helped me survive things you don't even know about. I shouldn't have to cut off my best friend to make my boyfriend feel secure. At one point she shouted, you're trying to control who I talk to. I shouted back, I'm trying to understand if I'm actually your partner or just the guy you sleep with between text sessions. There was a long silence after that. Finally, she said, very quietly, if you don't trust me with him, then you don't trust me at all. I didn't have a good answer to that. Because part of me did trust her. And part of me didn't trust this setup at all. We made up like couples do. Compromises were offered. She agreed to put her phone away during our dates. I agreed to stop reading into every emoji she sent him. We both agreed, no more snooping. For a while, things got smoother. We moved in together after 2 years, got a slightly bigger apartment, shared a Netflix account and a grocery list and all the mundane things that make a life. Alex was still there. Birthday parties, group hangs, the occasional drop by for a beer. But something had shifted. I started to notice patterns I'd missed before. Whenever we had a fight, about chores, about money, about wedding invitations to hypothetical future weddings, her phone battery would mysteriously drain faster. When I'd come back from a walk to cool off, I'd find her on the couch, eyes red, phone pressed to her ear. You always take his side, she said once, hanging up as I walked in. At least Alex listens without making me feel crazy. That stung. One night, after a particularly bad argument about me forgetting to pay a bill, she left the apartment to get air. A few hours later, I saw she'd posted an Instagram story of her and Alex on some rooftop bar, clinking glasses with the caption, "My therapist could never..." Everyone reacted with laughing emojis. I watched the little circle around her profile, the one that told me she was living a life I wasn't in at that moment, and felt something sour twist inside me. Again, I asked myself, am I overreacting? Or am I just finally seeing what's been there the whole time? The night it all came to a head was, ironically, supposed to be a reset night. We'd both been stressed, her with a brutal client deadline, me with a big project at work. So we'd planned homemade dinner, no phones, a movie we'd both already seen, just for comfort. I even left work early to cook. I was chopping vegetables when her phone buzzed on the counter. She'd left it there intentionally, face down, a small gesture of good faith. I ignored it. It buzzed again. And again. Finally, curiosity got the better of me. I glanced at the screen. 3 unread messages from Alex. I didn't open them. I just saw the previews. I can't do this without you tonight. Please tell me you're coming. You matter more than this, Lil. My heart thudded. Before I could decide what to do, Lily walked in, dropping her bag by the door. Smells amazing, she said, kissing my cheek. Her eyes flicked to her phone. She picked it up, read the messages, and her face changed. Not guilty. Torn. I forgot tonight is Alex's big presentation, she said. He's been freaking out about it for weeks. I promised I'd go to support him. She looked at me, winced. I also promised you tonight, she added. I'm sorry. I stared at her. So which promise wins? I asked. That's not fair, she said. He's not asking for all night. It's half an hour away. I can go, be there when he presents, grab a drink, and be back. We'll still have time. You want to leave our reset night to go be his emotional support? I said, trying to keep my voice even. He's my best friend, she said. He asked me. He needs me there. So do I said. That was the whole point of tonight. We went in circles for a while. I said things like, he has coworkers there. He'll survive one presentation without you. When was the last time you chose me first? She said things like, this isn't a competition. Why can't you just let me be there for the people I care about? Finally, I said the thing you're not supposed to say. If you had to choose, I asked quietly, Between being here with me tonight or being there with him, which would you pick? She stared at me. That's such a manipulative question, she said. Maybe, I said. I still want to know. She looked at her phone, then at me, then back at her phone, and then she said it. He matters more to me than you do, she said slowly. Because he's been there for parts of my life you refuse to even look at, and you make me feel small every time I ask for support that doesn't come from you. The room went strangely quiet. My ears rang. I latched onto the first part. He matters more, I repeated. More than me. Yes, she said. In the context of my whole life, yes. He's my anchor. You're my partner. Those are different roles. I am not going to amputate the person who got me through my worst just to make my boyfriend feel like the main character. It felt like she'd punched me. And I make you feel small? I asked, voice hoarse. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. You act like you're the only one allowed to have needs, she said. When I lean on Alex, you sulk. When I talk to my friends about our issues, you call it airing dirty laundry. You say you want to be my safe place. But half the time, it feels like I have to manage your insecurity before I can even feel my own feelings. A part of me wanted to argue every point, to bring up every time I'd shown up for her, every late-night drive, every surprise coffee, every time I'd listened without judgment. But another part of me, the part that was suddenly very, very tired, heard something else. He matters more to me than you do. Oh, I thought about all the little data points. The jokes about store brand you, premium him. The Instagram story about him being her therapist. The way she ran to him after every big fight. I realized I'd been trying to win a game she'd never agreed we were playing. And I was losing. I can't be in a relationship where I come in second to another man, I said quietly. I'm not built for that. Then maybe we shouldn't be in a relationship, she shot back. There it was. The crack that had been slowly widening for 3 years, finally breaking open. After that moment, there wasn't much left to say. We both just stood there. She stared at the floor. I stared at the half-chopped vegetables on the cutting board. You should go, I said finally. She looked up. What? To his thing, I clarified. Go. Be where you clearly want to be. Her face crumpled for a second, like she might cry. Then she steadied herself. That's not what she started. Please don't gaslight me right now, I said, surprising even myself with the firmness in my voice. You said he matters more. You said I make you feel small. I believe you. Go to the person who makes you feel big. She grabbed her keys slowly. This doesn't have to be a breakup, she said. We're just having a hard time. I let out a breath that sounded like a laugh. What does a breakup even mean, I asked, when you've basically told me I'm already in second place? She didn't have an answer. She left. The door closed with a soft click. I stood in the silence of our apartment and listened to the echo of her words. He matters more to me than you do. An old version of me, the one who'd grown up watching my mom beg my dad to pick her over his job, his friends, his ego, would have grabbed his keys and chased after her. This time, I didn't. Instead, I did something I hadn't done in this whole relationship. I opened a blank note on my phone and wrote down everything she'd just said, word for word, before time and memory could soften it. He matters more to me than you do. You make me feel small. I'm not going to amputate the person who got me through my worst just to make my boyfriend feel like the main character. I stared at the lines for a long time. Then I did the thing I mentioned in the cold open. I started packing a bag. Not rage packing, not tossing things violently into a suitcase. Just folding clothes. Choosing what I'd need for a few weeks at my buddy Kyle's place. While I was doing that, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from Instagram. Lily has started a live video. I shouldn't have, but I tapped it. There she was, at a packed bar, music thumping, camera a little shaky. Alex was next to her, in his suit, grinning, a little flushed. We did it, she shouted over the noise. He killed it in the presentation. I'm so proud. The comments flooded in. You guys are goals. Ride or die a duo. Get you a friend like this. Alex grabbed the phone for a second. This woman right here is my rock, he said, slurring slightly. Don't know what I'd do without her. He kissed her cheek. The chat exploded with heart emojis. I ended the video. I felt sick. Not because they were making out. They weren't. Because the energy between them, the comfort, the effortless affection, was exactly what I'd wanted with her. And it was crystal clear where she'd chosen to invest that energy. For the next 2 hours, I sat on the couch in the half-packed apartment and stared at nothing. At some point, my phone buzzed again. A text from Lily. Lily, 11:47 p.m. I'm coming home. Please don't do anything drastic. We can talk. I typed, deleted, and retyped about 50 different versions of I think we're done. In the end, I sent, me. I'm at Kyle's. Take the bed. We'll talk tomorrow when we're both sober and less everything. She didn't reply. The next day, we did the awkward Quiet Voices post-fight debrief. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one we'd eaten 1,000 meals at. I didn't mean it like you think I did, she said. When I said he matters more, I meant in terms of my history. He was there when I wanted to die, Ethan, when my dad left, when my ex hurt me. You walked into a version of me that exists because he helped me survive. That doesn't mean you're not important now. I believed the part about her history. I also believed that, subconsciously or not, she was always going to prioritize the person tied to her survival over the person tied to her future. I respect that Alex is important, I said. I do, but I can't build a life with someone who sees me as optional. or who thinks my asking for basic boundaries is me making them small. She bit her lip. Can we try therapy? She asked. Like actual couples counseling? A neutral third party? The part of me that still loved her, which, let's be honest, was most of me, wanted to say yes. But there was that note on my phone again, her words, clear, unfiltered. He matters more to me than you do. I realized therapy couldn't fix something that fundamental. We wanted different architectures of love. She wanted a constellation with multiple people at her emotional center. I wanted a partnership where we were each other's person. Neither is objectively wrong, but they are incompatible if both people don't agree. I think we're already past the point where a therapist can make me unhear what you said, I told her, and make you unfeel what you clearly feel. She looked away, tears welling. So, that's it? She whispered. You're just done? I took a deep breath. I'm done trying to win a spot in a race I never signed up for, I said. That's not the same as being done caring about you. We split the logistics like a business deal. She kept the apartment. I took the couch, my clothes, my favorite mug. We divided the kitchenware based on who actually used what. There was no dramatic screaming match, no tossing of rings. Just two exhausted people realizing they weren't who each other needed. A week after I moved out, Kyle sent me a screenshot. It was from Lily's Instagram. A photo of her and Alex sitting on a rooftop at sunset, heads leaned together. The caption, "Some people are forever people." He didn't send it to hurt me. He sent it so I wouldn't find out by accident later. I stared at it for a long minute. I felt a flicker of anger. Then, unexpectedly, relief. Because if that's where her heart had always been, I was finally out of the way. It's been almost 2 years since that night in the kitchen. Since my girlfriend, now my ex, told me that another man mattered more to her than I did, and that I made her feel small. If this were a simple, angry story, this is the part where I'd tell you they cheated. She got what she deserved, and I leveled up into some kind of revenge success arc. Real life is messier. Here's what actually happened. About 6 months after the breakup, I ran into a mutual friend, Jenna, at a coffee shop. I wasn't sure if I should tell you, she said, stirring her drink, but you're probably going to hear it from someone soon anyway. I braced myself. Lily and Alex are together, she said, officially. Like dating? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. Yeah, she said. They tried to keep it low-key at first because of you, but it's a thing now. I sat with that. Part of me felt vindicated. See, there was something there all along. Part of me felt gutted all over again. I wasn't enough. But another part of me, a part that had grown louder in therapy, thought, of course, the person she called for every crisis, every celebration, every in-between moment, eventually became the person she wanted to build something with. That doesn't make what happened to me feel better, but it does make it make sense. A year after that, I heard through the same grapevine that they got engaged. I didn't stalk their wedding photos. I didn't need to. I already knew exactly what their vows would sound like. Thank you for being my rock. I don't know what I'd do without you. I'd read the rough draft of those vows years earlier in their text thread. Meanwhile, my life didn't become a highlight reel. I dated a bit. I got ghosted a few times. I had one almost relationship that fizzled when we realized we wanted different things. But I also did something I'd never really done before. I sat with my part in what happened. In therapy, my counselor, Mark, asked me a question that annoyed me at first. He said, if Lily had been emotionally honest on day one and said, I have a male best friend who is my emotional center, and I'm not willing to change that. Can you love me as I am? What would you have said? I thought about it. I would have said no, I admitted. I would have said I want to be someone's first call, not their third. So, he said gently, a big part of your pain is that you didn't listen to the information she was giving you all along. She might not have used those exact words, but she did tell you. You just hoped she'd choose differently. That stung, because it was true. From the very beginning, she'd said, Alex is my person. He literally saved my life. He's like family. He's not going anywhere. I heard those words. I just filed them under, I'll fix this by being such a good boyfriend she won't need him like that anymore. That wasn't fair to her. It wasn't fair to me. Do I think Lily handled everything perfectly? No. I think using your best friend as your therapist while your partner is left out breeds resentment. I think posting ride or die captions with someone who isn't your partner sends a message whether you mean it to or not. I think telling your boyfriend he makes you feel small in the middle of an argument instead of in a calm conversation is a grenade, not feedback. But I also don't think she's a cartoon villain. She was a person trying to reconcile two kinds of love without losing either. And I was a person trying to turn someone into a version of a partner they never promised to be. So what's the actual lesson here? It's not, never date someone with a guy best friend. Life is more nuanced than that. Here's what I've landed on, and if you're still listening, it might be the most important part. When someone tells you who their person is, believe them. If you want to be that person and they've already given that role to someone else, Friend, family, whoever, don't stick around hoping they'll rewrite their story just for you. And if someone says, "You make me feel small," don't dismiss it as drama. You don't have to accept every criticism, but you do have to decide if you want to be with someone who experiences you that way. Looking back, I can see so many off-ramps I ignored. The first time she said, "He knows me better than anyone," and I laughed it off. The first time I saw a message that hurt and told myself I was being insecure instead of honest. The first time she told me I was making her feel small and I focused on the word he instead. If you're in a situation right now where you feel like you're competing with someone, a best friend, a job, a hobby, an addiction, here's what I wish someone had told me. You don't have to win. You can walk away instead. That doesn't make you weak. Sometimes, walking away is the first time you've actually chosen yourself. So, that's how a simple argument in a tiny kitchen turned into the moment my girlfriend told me another man mattered more to her than I did, and that I made her feel small. It hurt. It still stings a bit, if I'm honest. But it also cracked something open in me that needed to break. My belief that love means convincing someone you're worth more than whoever came before. My habit of staying in situations where I'm clearly not someone's first choice. My tendency to call my discomfort jealousy instead of looking at whether my needs are actually being met. If you've ever asked someone to choose between you and someone else, or even just thought about it, I want to ask you, would you rather be chosen after a tug of war, or be with someone who never made you wonder in the first place? Let me know down in the comments. Have you ever been in a situation like this, where a partner had a best friend who felt like a third person in the relationship? Did you stay and try to make it work, or did you leave? I read as many of your stories as I can, and your perspectives help other people who might be living their own version of this right now. And if you like calm, detailed, real-life-style story times like this, about relationships, boundaries, and the messy truth instead of just heroes and villains, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. Your support helps us keep making these long-form videos for you.